All right, well, welcome everybody tonight to the Urban Outcast. I am your outcast, Mark Urban, and this is kind of our first little run here. Going to do some evening interviews and a bunch of different things. Going to talk about all kinds of stuff from politics to, religion to, what's going on locally, what's going on nationally, but mostly we're going to interview people in the community here in Bellingham and Whatcom County area, and we're just going to test some things out. But business owners, people that are doing things in the community, volunteers, all kinds of people, all kinds of topics, and we're just going to kind of go with it. And so I'm here tonight with my co-producer Jeffrey. How you doing, Jeffrey?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you tonight?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. We got a little late start working out some technical difficulties, and I'm a little hot still. And if you could turn like all my headphone volumes down a little bit,
I guess I can do that.
yeah, cool. This is live and raw. So, and then I'm actually pleased to have. We're going to talk a lot about Bellingham and the Bellingham's Gone to Shit Facebook page, which has grown from just a couple years ago about 500 members to 8,000 almost seemingly overnight. And I am pleased to have with me the guy who started the page himself, Mr. James Lynch. James,
How's it going?
welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going great.
Yep. And cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. We're no, we're not a bunch of alcoholics. We just like to have a little evening sip. So, Jeffrey, cheers.
Absolutely.
I don't know. This town can drive you drunk.
Well, that's a good place to start. Yeah. Lots going on in Bellingham, man. I tell you what. And this page is really kind of showcasing that. What a great, interesting idea. Now, tell me a little bit about before we get into that. Tell me a little bit about you and like where you're originally from.
I'm actually originally from Bellingham.
Okay. Like you were born and raised here?
No, I was actually born in Maui, Hawaii.
Oh, really?
And then we moved to Texas where my sister was born. And then we moved to Canada. And then fifth grade, we moved to Bellingham. And then pretty much from fifth grade all the way up until I was about, 20, I moved to Arizona. And then I came back after a year. And then in 2010, I moved to Montana to be with my wife and kid. And in 2021, I've been back almost 3 years now.
So did you say 2020 you moved to Montana?
2010.
Oh, 2010. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked a little bit, before this off camera. Now I'm might be getting things mixed up. You were here, then you actually started the page when you were in Montana?
Yeah, I started in Montana maybe 3 years ago.
And what made you decide to start a Bellingham's Gone to Shit page
Well,
while you're in Montana?
I'm not going to get into names, but somebody I know personally used to work at the courthouse where all hell was breaking loose.
You're good. Pauses are fine because we can edit it out.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was like,
I just lost you totally.
We're live over here. Don't
There we
forget that.
Well, that's
yeah,
okay.
much better. I like that. I like that better. Let's do that.
well, I didn't know if I was like too far or too close.
We're playing with
No,
our
you're
toys
good.
here.
You're good. We're figuring this out on the fly because that's what we do.
Playing with our toys here. So anyway, you started it when you were in Montana.
Yep. So, like I said, somebody I know personally worked at the courthouse and started sending me pictures of the library and city hall. I'm like, are we
Interesting.
allowed to swear?
Yeah, go for it. We
Okay.
can-
So for
Fucking ain't
shits and
right.
giggles, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start a Facebook group called Bellingham's Gone to Shit.
So it's just kind of almost tongue in cheek.
Yeah, it was just on the whim.
A little bit
I
of
was bored, so I was like, you know what? So I keep getting these pictures and I keep posting them. And like I say, after 3 years, you go from 10 members, clear up to 500, and then 8,000 overnight in
Yeah.
3 years. It's amazing. And I did it as honestly as a joke. I didn't think it would have taken off like this.
Really, really. So and like I said, we've talked a little bit. You don't seem you seem to be kind of you're not uber political per se or anything like that. You're kind of down the middle, average guy that decided to do something tongue in cheek and
Pretty much. But, living here in Washington and Bellingham, you're blind to everything.
oh,
But when you
interesting.
move away and you're like, wait a minute, this is different. What's going on? And then after 3-4 years, you come back and you're going, wait a minute, this wasn't like this. Why are all these tents lining the freeway?
That is interesting that you say that because you know I often use the term with a certain political party, and I have no, I have no political affiliation, but there's a certain party that's running Bellingham right now that kind of ties into what you're saying, and the fact that they don't see it because they're in it. It's like they're living in feces, but they've convinced themselves it's chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is great, and it's like, do you not see what's going on? Oh, everything's fine. It's fine. So let's just keep voting the same way. Let's just keep voting in the same people. Let's just keep, status quo.
Yeah.
And so you're describing the fact that you moved away and started looking in from the outside. And I think that's what we need to do sometimes.
Yeah. You come in, and I've never seen tents lining the freeway in the 20, 30 years that I've actually lived here down in Seattle.
Right.
And so when you come back, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? And then you go back to where you live and you're going, why is this different? So I started doing research. Well, California's a shithole. Oregon's a shithole. Washington's a shithole. They're all blue states.
Yeah.
Why is this? So that's what literally kind of got me really started in politics. 2008, I voted for Obama. Why? Because I did. And now look,
Yeah.
I'm
I think a lot of people did
pro-Trump.
that are regretting that decision actually, because it kind of started as he put it, the fundamental transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fundamental transformation, and it hasn't been for good.
Yeah.
But a lot of us who were opposed to him saw that. But of course, we're just considered right wingers because, well, you just don't want the Democrat black guy to get in office. And it's like, no, it had nothing to do with that. We knew his background, which was just nothing but a community activist. He never run a business. He never
Yeah.
made money. You guys know how. Then you get somebody like Trump in who has to come in and clean it up. This guy knows how to make money. And I'm an unabashed Trump guy. I'll just say it. We won't get into that too much right now. But, you see how the economy started booming. We had lower gas prices, and people say, well, the president doesn't have anything to do with that. Actually, that's not true. The president, just the tone and the spirit of having the right president, everybody loosens up a little bit,
Mhm.
Because they know they're not going to get taxed to the hilt. And but yeah, back to Bellingham though, kind of the same thing's been going on. You have the same seeming leadership that's just not getting it.
Yeah.
And following the status quo of the rest of the state and the rest of California and Oregon. It's like it's one big blue wave of crap.
Yeah.
And so anyway, back to you though. So you moved away, then you saw that it's kind of going to crap. What made you decide to move back?
Family, honestly.
Right.
And I've told the wife and the kid, I really want to move back. I really want to move back. And then I come back to visit, and then I go back to Montana, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to move back.
Mm.
And then after 6-7 months, you're like, God, I really miss the water. I really miss the mountains.
They put something in the water. Okay, like we all know this.
Well, it is. Look, that's the thing. Well, no doubt about it. Washington State is got to be. It's paradise in the summer, man.
It
this
is.
place. They say, I love my state, hate my government, kind of a thing. Washington State's gorgeous, and I think that's the only saving grace at the time that we've seen a mass exodus after COVID. COVID was a real big eye opener for a lot of people of what dictatorship looks like.
Oh yeah.
You see other red states that aren't doing it, getting out of it quicker, and just everyone's fine. And we can get into that whole thing another time. That's a whole other podcast. But
Gorgeous. We don't have poisonous snakes. We don't have not everything in
Huge
nature is
spiders.
trying to kill us. I mean, and that speaks volumes because other states it's like, okay, but have you been to Oklahoma? Yeah, have you heard those tornado warnings? Like, if you
Yeah.
don't know what the hell's going on, that shit will scare you. Okay, like first time I heard it, I walked out the porch and there was a tornado a mile off. And I was 16 years old. I started freaking out. And they're like, oh, don't worry. It ain't coming this way. I'm like, screw you. I've seen Twister. They
Like a
changed
big-
direction. All right.
By
Like,
the way, they're coming out with a new
Yeah.
Twister.
oh, boy. Here we
I
go.
want to see that one.
Well, welcome to the podcast where we can go any direction at any time. The ADHD Urban Outcast podcast. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're sure Jeffrey's over there playing with toys.
Yeah, that's what I do.
But we talked too. So, you started this page. You kind of see what's going on. You see the homeless. Speaking of homeless, weren't you for a while? You kind of had a little issue with that.
Yeah, from 19 to about 20, I was on the street. And then that's when I moved to Arizona. And then in 2003, I moved. So 2002, I moved to Arizona. In 2003, I came back and for some different issues. And then I was pretty much told by somebody in Arizona, don't come back. So that put me back out on the streets from about 21 to about 25.
So you've got experience being homeless.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I worked, never stole.
So what was that like? What did that look like? Tell me what that was like a bit. Like, were you
Honestly,
actually living on the street or in a car or?
I was on the street. I don't know if you know that bridge underneath. I can't remember what street it is, but Jalapenos or whatever on
Yeah.
Holly. That bridge right there. Not
Park.
Yeah. Yeah. You know why that's fenced off?
Well, I'm assuming homeless people.
No. Well, that probably too. But when I was on the street, I became friends with this veteran, and his wife ended up leaving him, and he was going through a rough hard patch. And back then I smoked. So he gave me some money and said, "Hey, go get us a beer and some cigarettes." And when I came back, he hung himself.
Really?
Yep.
Did you found him?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then another crazy story is when I was 19 to 20, I actually knew the Beltway sniper,
No kidding.
Yeah.
That was
John Mohammed and Lee Boyd
right.
Malvo.
Right. I remember that.
He actually asked me if I wanted to go on a road trip with him.
Wow.
I was like, I can't. I'd love to. Nice guy.
Aren't all
Nice
serial
guy.
killers?
They all
But,
are.
You
Until you're in the microwave.
you don't know what's going on outside of their life. He
Oh, yeah,
he
sure,
was
sure.
quiet.
Yeah.
But he was
So
nice.
Was he homeless too then?
He was staying at the Lighthouse
I'm trying
Mission
to remember. It's been a while.
with Malvo.
That's right. And Malvo went to Bellingham.
Yeah, he went to school at I think Bellingham
I think it's
High.
Bellingham
Yeah.
High School. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I ran into him one day and he's like, hey, I'm going to be going on a road trip. You want to come with? I was like, I'm getting ready to move to Arizona. I'd love to go with you. And
There's one you look back and go, damn, I made the right choice that day.
And that's
Finally.
exactly what I said when all these shootings started over there. And then come to find out it was him and Malvo. I was like, holy shit, he wanted me to go with him.
Did you talk to the cops at all? They interviewed?
No,
Really?
no.
Well,
'Cause
they're gonna want to
it-
talk
it
to you now.
concerned me.
Yeah, we're live on
We're
all
live.
social media. So,
James Lynch, everyone. Have a good night. I gotta go.
But
All right.
what's
Check my
crazy,
guns.
but what's crazy is he had this green duffel bag that he would not let anybody near. Guess
That's
what I'm
nothing to
thinking
clap
that
about
is.
there, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
But
Sorry,
guess what
I'm
I'm
trying to
thinking.
figure
Working out
this out.
toys.
I'm figuring it out.
He had these green duffel bags. Wow. What was that? Do you think it was his guns?
I think that was his rifle.
Oh shit.
Dude, that you got,
I think
you experienced you were a part of a piece of history, not a good part, but
yeah.
famous history.
But
Wow.
what's weird is when I was on the street, I knew him and the 3 kids. I can't remember how many kids he had that he actually stole from his ex-wife.
Stole.
He kidnapped them from his ex-wife.
And well, I mean, did they complain, or did they want to be with him, or what was that like?
I don't know the whole story, but he ended up disappearing for about 3-4 months, and then he came back with Malvo.
Wow. So what was he like? You said he was kind of a nice guy.
He was a nice guy. He would talk, but he would leave a lot of important facts out.
Well, of course. Most serial killers do.
Yeah, I drank beer.
I will tell you, I have met some of the most horrible people in history in my life, and they are always quiet. They will calmly
That's the
tell
quiet
you.
ones you gotta worry about.
Yeah, the quiet ones are definitely the ones you got to worry about. But when they just, they'll be like, yeah, I went and did some things, and it was some things,
and stuff.
but they never actually tell you any real facts.
That's
They're
creepy.
they're either lying or they're the ones that you definitely have to watch out for.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy. So was it Lee Malvo, right?
Yep.
And then what was the kid? Or no, I'm trying to get him straight again.
Lee Boyd Malvo was the kid. That he was the trigger. He
Right.
was the one pulling
And
the
then
trigger.
the guy it was
Muhammad.
Muhammad. That's right. What was his other name? It was
John.
John Muhammad. Okay.
I don't remember. I don't know his actual real name, but he was actually a veteran, I think, in Iraq or Desert Storm.
That's right.
Correct.
And
So yeah.
he ended up changing his name from, I don't remember his original name, but to Muhammad because he wanted to be Muslim.
That's right. Yeah, I kind of remember that vaguely. Yeah. So during this time, are you working? Are you what's going on with you? You're homeless, you're on the street, you're hanging out, you're meeting serial killers. That's kind of interesting.
I was working. There was a labor
Where were you
ready
working?
and manpower like right across the street.
So let me get this straight. So we got a homeless crisis right now and Jeffrey has a lot of experience with this because he's worked with this guy Jeremiah who's been out there and he's seen it. But because I want from somebody who's been homeless, it seems to me that wasn't really ideally what you wanted to be.
No.
No, I mean, nobody wants to be. I didn't want to be. I was kind of forced into it.
There's very few people out there who are choosing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why does it seem like that's not the case? Why does it seem like if they're not choosing it, and here's a guy, and I'm just asking the question, you pulled yourself out of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with that. How did that process go?
I mean, being on the streets, and you meet some cool people, a lot of times, yeah, I would couch surf and stuff like that. But working and saving up money to get into your own place, which honestly was the worst mistake I ever did because I had this place for 3 months and then I met this girl who came up here from Arizona and I gave all that up to go to Arizona.
Those girls. Women.
It wasn't that good, but it's not.
Well, apparently.
But I mean,
they're the devil's daughters, I tell you.
It's true.
But what do you do? So I actually came back up here to take care of some family matters,
but you start getting yourself together. It sounds like at this point, right? You start. So you're doing some labor ready stuff. Is that right?
Labor ready, manpower, day labor type of stuff. If they like you,
was drugs and alcohol ever an issue?
Drugs, no. I mean,
He's got a drink in his hand. I think we can safely say the
Well,
other
I
one.
didn't say I said an issue, not a
It's
pleasure.
true. It's
You
true.
know, when I was on the street from 19 to 20, you know, drugs and alcohol was never an issue. Yeah, I would have a beer once in a while.
No, and I'm talking to you.
But
Yeah.
being legal, no. I there.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, I saved up the money that I had.
Yeah, it sounds like, you had a goal to get yourself out of that, which you clearly
You can
did.
only do for you.
Yeah.
If you want to be a bum all your life, that's what's going to happen. I've seen people on the streets from 20 years ago. And I'm like, you're still doing this? And a lot of homeless people here are just damn right lazy. Well, I make more money panhandling than I do from actually working.
Well, and that's the point I was making is I think a lot of them have given up on a regular life partially because of drugs
Mm-hmm.
and partially because they can make a ton of money just panhandling.
I panhandled twice when I was on the street. I don't know if it was just because I'm ugly or what, but I only made like $20 in like 5 hours.
Because the homeless thing
Damn.
is really I look back on the fact that, especially in this state, instead of encouraging people with programs to get yourself out of it, let's make drugs legal. Let's make it so they can do drugs on the street. Let's give them money. Let's just allow them to build campments behind places for long enough, and it's this, there's certain other areas and states that are like, no, we're not going to allow that. So where do they go? They go to the states that allow it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at some point I want to interview Jeannie Burton. If you're familiar, you've seen a little bit of clips of her on the page. She was all methed out, and incarceration was the one thing that actually finally got her, when forced rehab in a sense.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you had a comment you were thinking of.
Yeah, so I will tell you that I can take you down to Narcotics Anonymous meeting right now, and there'll be a laundry list of people that said the jail saved their life. But I can also go back in those woods and show you some really good sober people who have been through some really traumatic things. And it's not that they're making money. They don't hang out in the
sure.
they're behind Walmart right now. And I mean, Hawaii is one of my biggest examples. He is a 22-year Army Ranger vet. He's back there because he can't function in society as a person, and that's different.
It's the PTSD.
Yeah, like he interacts with people on a short scale, but the average day-to-day, like living in an apartment, he's not capable of doing because of the PTSD from being in the military.
But you know what though?
And it's
those guys, those guys have been around since I was a kid.
Yeah.
The veterans, the PTSD.
Okay, we're gonna go over to Tennessee whiskey.
All right, well, it's live, folks, and it's the first trial run here. So
That's how I do it.
this is how we do it. That was a nice segue. No, for me, it seems like, okay, yeah, that they've been around. Now what I'm seeing though is, hey, we can do this. I can shoplift and not go to jail.
Oh yeah, no,
I can do as much drugs as I want or sell them, and I'm not going to get busted. I can go in and people say, hey, don't do that. I'm like, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to call the cops. Go ahead. They're not going to do anything.
True.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about, and I'm not a callous person. I'm very compassionate to those who deserve compassion.
And here's the funny part: if you knew this small percentage of people that are actually doing the shoplifting, it will twist your brain.
Well, and these are the things we need to talk about.
I have been back there recently. The Walmart encampment, I've walked all the way to the back. I have talked to people all the way to the back, and I was floored. Once you get 100 yards back in the mile hike back, everything changes. The first 100 yards, that's where all the fentanyl people are at. Because guess what? You can access the front, you can access the camp, you can sell your drugs, everything. It is the prime spot. Beyond that are the people who just want to be left alone. They don't get the free food up front. They don't get the free clothing because they don't even want to associate with those people. They don't want to be thought of as one of those people because they're not like that.
So, but where does that come? There's always been homeless. There's
Yeah.
always been hobos. There's
Yeah.
always been transients. But it seems to me now more than ever, and I think a lot of it has to do with this open border. Let's just be honest. The
Okay.
open border,
Yeah.
fentanyl.
Yep.
I mean, you're creating zombies.
Yep. And you're creating you've created a drug that is the most addictive substance that the humanity has ever seen, in a price point that is lower than any drug in history.
Cheap
And
and deadly.
yeah,
It's like what, $2 a pill or
combination.
something?
okay, so if you buy it from, if you were to walk downtown and find Joe Schmo downtown who you've never met, you know nothing about, you're gonna pay $4 a pill. $4 can get you higher than you've ever been in your
Wow,
life.
That is cheap.
If you're actually buying in bulk, you can get it for 25 cents a pill.
That's just insane.
No, it's disgusting, is what it is.
So then, clearly the drug part of it is a big part of it.
No, it's huge because if you try fentanyl once, you're done.
Right.
I know people who have done it. I have ran into friends back in those camps who were strong.
People
but
used to know.
Yeah, and like you talked about, oh, they're not willing to try. These people tried, and they were savages at standing on their own 2 feet and figuring out a way.
Yeah.
Even if they were in the game or whatnot, like they did not, they never went a night on a street.
Yeah.
And now these people are in a homeless camp. I saw one the other day, and I couldn't even have a conversation with him because he was so fried, and it broke my heart.
If I was on the street now, I honestly think I would be addicted to something.
Oh, I couldn't be on the street without being on something. I mean, I'm too much of I like my nice little home and space, and I'm just not wired to be camping and sleeping in my own feces every night.
So that's the other side of the coin. There's a guy up on the corner of Walmart. The batteries are right there on the counter. There's a guy in the corner of Walmart who's got his tent right at the car wash. It's the only tent up there. The city's asking him to move it. It might not be there. He has no legs. You will see him if you drive back there because he sits right in the corner in his wheelchair, shivering. This dude has been through a hell I can't even imagine. He's lost both his legs because of diabetes. He's had 9 back surgeries. He is in hell. But he gets more handouts than everyone. And when it was cold out, we had one of our group that actually offered to take him into his house, let him have access to the shower, hot food, a warm place to sleep for the night, and he said no.
Which, by the way, hold that thought. Jeffrey's part of a group that was out. You were feeding and handing out coats and things, so he volunteers. Jeffrey volunteers a lot, and Jeffrey's not. He's again, it's an apolitical thing. I mean, he sees both sides of this. We've talked that there are homeless, and I agree. There are homeless that I think they want to be left alone, and I don't give a shit what you do. If you want to go live in the woods, I don't care. Just don't steal and push drugs. So I'm like,
all homeless aren't bad.
No.
It's just the ones that are bad that make it bad for everybody else.
Right.
And that's where the problem lies, is when you classify any group, it doesn't matter, police, homeless, anything, as a group,
stereotypes them all
for bad acts of single individuals, you're gonna do more damage than good. Period.
The problem is that's going to happen when you have an epidemic like we have. Is in any facet of society, you're going to have the minority running the majority. That's what we're seeing in politics right now. That's what we're seeing in our current government. That's what we're seeing. The whole climate and spiritual feel is it's this minority. Most people, all agree they just want to live their lives and be left alone.
Yeah.
And anyway, we're back.
But in my opinion, I think Washington enables the criminals, but criminalizes the law-abiding citizens.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing too, is wolves have teeth, say the sheep.
Yeah.
And the sheep recognize that teeth are dangerous. So what do the sheep do? They remove their teeth.
No.
That's the current leadership. This liberal Democrat, I'm just gonna say it, liberal thinking, and I'm not saying the Republicans. I can't stand the Republican Party either, but the platform, and I've run into Democrats. I know, I'm even seeing them on the page,
Yeah.
right? That are like, yeah, no, this isn't what we don't want either. The Democrat Party left Democrats a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And they're being run by psychopaths, literally. And that's why you see a lot of what's happening. It's not working. It's like you and I were talking the other day. It's just common sense and logic, which there isn't so common anymore. If it's not working, give another party, try something different.
Yeah.
But you've got money, you've got power, you've got all these things involved. Okay, your city's literally going to shit, bringing it around full circle to the reason for the page, which has now exploded to 8,000 people. And it's very interesting now how everyone started to take notice.
Yeah, like I said, I did it as a joke.
It's awesome.
And then I actually moved back, and I'm going, wait a minute here.
You've created something that is
I get a lot of shit for it too.
Yeah.
I get good and I get bad.
Well,
I lost jobs because of it.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. You and I talked. What is the downtown project? Tell me.
I think it's a joke.
But I mean, explain to me, what is it?
You walk around with a little fanny pack and you go and you help people. That's fine. I agree. Hey, excuse me, sir, ma'am, them,
But what was it created to? Like, get into what was it for? What is it about?
Honestly, I don't know why it was created, but I think from what I was told is that because of the defund the police can't really do anything. So they hire.
It was to supplement.
I think so. So what we would do is we would go around, because if somebody's dying on a sidewalk, the police might not be able to show up quick enough. So people would call us and we would try to respond fast enough. So in our little bitty fanny packs, we would have to.
Were you part of this?
What?
That's
the
what we're
downtown
gonna get
project.
Yeah, no, I worked the
No, he worked for
downtown
them.
billing.
Oh,
That's what I'm
partnership.
getting. I wanted him to
Okay,
explain
yeah.
it first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just like,
Explain
wait a
it
minute.
to the
Like,
audience,
I've been
for our
wanting to
audience
do
first.
this.
What is the downtown project in its entirety? And then we'll get into what your part of it was.
Like I said, it's hard to describe because
Who started it?
honestly, I have no idea who started it. Who started the downtown?
Because what I
place.
know of it, it seems like this citizen patrol thing.
It kind of was. I think there's actually what do you call them? Like a part of the city that's in an office building, they call them the downtown partnership.
Okay.
So they contract, if I'm correct on this, they contract out these
There
other
you go.
people to patrol downtown Bellingham in different sections or districts. So from like Railroad to the fish hatchery would be zone 1. Railroad clear up to Lakeway zone 2. And then Magnolia clear out to Bellingham High School would be like zone 3. So we would all switch out. But, if we would get dispatched to, hey, somebody's sleeping in front of my door, can you move them along? We'll call the cops. Well, the cops can't do anything. So we would have to go there and literally tell them to move. So it's
Wait.
like
So the
wannabe
cops
security.
can't do anything.
Yeah.
But you just whatever you is
Random
your
Joe that's
that's
wearing a
part of a
stupid blue coat.
that's part of a project
Yeah.
to do what the police can't do is going to have an effect.
Because we were non-offensive.
Oh, who came up with that brilliant idea?
I don't know. But when I run for governor, I'm changing the nickname of the Evergreen State to the Don't Offend Me State.
Oh, fuck.
That's good. Yeah. And hearing it goes back to the minority
Oh, God.
ruling the majority again. So let's continue on this. So, what kind of qualifications did they require you to have, if any?
Oh God,
I honestly don't know what qualifications, but I know I was overqualified
How so?
because of my extensive background in the security field.
Right, because you're a security guard, right? Or you
Yeah.
do security
I've
operations and
I've
things,
done loss prevention.
casinos and
I've done security patrol. I've had supervisors back in Montana
So they think, okay,
that
great.
were SWAT supervisors.
We don't want cops, but we got a security guy. He's going to be perfect.
Yeah. So when all hell breaks loose, guess who they called? Me.
Really.
the well-dressed target.
So what kind? So what?
The
what-
only thing I was missing was probably a tie.
So what kinds of things did you experience doing the downtown project?
My first day was literally the eye opener of what the hell was going on downtown. I never felt so dirty in my entire life.
Really?
There's an alley between like Railroad. What's the name of that old magazine shop? It's like a smoke shop now.
Oh, are you talking about down on Holly or Magnolia?
Magnolia.
Yeah,
Ollie,
Magnolia, yeah.
somewhere. Yeah. Railroad.
Right next to the record store.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
But you walk through that alley, there's shit and you can smell it and fentanyl. I had to go home and I had to shower for like an hour and I couldn't get that smell out of my
Just
nose.
picture James. He's in the corner crying. Oh God! Give me
Pussy.
some more soap.
I'm offended. Leave me alone.
So was this like your first day, first
That
week?
was my first day, but when I finally got a feel for it, I did what I had to do, which what can you do? I think I was making like $18 an hour
Wow.
to literally walk maybe 10 miles a day to wait for somebody to call me and say, hey, you need to go over to Jalapenos Mexican restaurant because there's a guy overdosing.
So, how long did you work for this project?
February 6th to I think March 6th,
A little over a month.
give or take. Yeah.
Okay. And what happened? What did you end up leaving?
Well, I go into work and I actually did enjoy it. You know, I met some of the people
Okay.
that I actually knew from back in the day.
When you were homeless.
Yes.
Still homeless.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then some I met and I'm like, you look familiar. I'm horrible with names, but I'm good with faces. So I'm like, you look familiar.
Aren't you Bo? Hobo. Sorry, that was a bad dad joke.
But you know, so
I'll drink to
you
that.
know, just seeing some of these people, I'm like, I know you, but what's your name? And then finally, when they tell me their name, I'm like, do you remember me? And then I tell my name, and they're like, holy shit.
How'd that make you feel?
I mean, the people that actually bettered their lives, it made me feel great because I know I bettered my life. But the people that I've known for so long that are still on the streets, it's like, okay, I know them. I can't put a name to the face, but I'll still talk to them. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm still out here. Now I'm addicted to this, addicted to that, addicted to this. And then once I finally realize my name and it finally clicks, because I got to say, hey, we did this, we did that, we've gone here. And they're just like, holy shit, you're doing so much better. Yeah, I worked my ass off for it.
So you're walking around, you're getting dispatched, right? Is that how it
Yeah.
kind of works? What's your day look like? So you come into work, you have like a team meeting or anything, or is there like, hey, we've had some recent activity in this area, we're gonna go check it out, kind of like cops do, or like what did a day
They
look
would
like?
pretty much, we would have like a briefing or whatever and say, hey, this happened last night while all of us weren't
Oh,
here.
interesting.
This business got broken into. We need to just kind of walk by. At 5:00, this business called. They've got 15 homeless people laying outside their business. We need to try to move them along. And what's funny is you can walk over to Target for example, you got 20 people laying out. Hey, excuse me, sir, ma'am, guys, you guys need to leave. It doesn't matter if it takes them 5 minutes to leave or 12 hours to leave. We have to stand there.
I was gonna say, what is some of the responses? Maybe they just
Go
tell you
fuck yourself. You're not the cops. You can't do anything
And the cops can't do anything
I
either.
challenge
No.
that.
because
Yeah, right. I know.
it's,
Well, it's not that the cops can't do anything; it's they're told not. to.
You know,
They-
the
they
response team
can't.
needs a response team.
Need a giant boot in asses.
Yeah.
the way I see it is we were a glorified hall monitor.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, that sounds about like what you're
Because if
describing.
you can't do it, it's like a babysitter.
So what's one of
Well,
your
you're watching a bunch of kids, but you can't discipline them.
So our tax dollars are paying. By the way, are you guys armed at all? Or can you be armed? I mean,
No, because it's offensive. We cannot do anything to look like cops. They actually had radios that are instant. So if you're dying and stabbed in in an alleyway, you could push a button and hopefully somebody shows up.
he said instant for a minute. I mean, instant, like if you're dying, it's instant. It just finishes you off.
But with-
Push the button, you're done.
Yeah, but they changed that because they supposedly look too much like police, so they gave us cell phones.
Hey,
So I always start asking questions.
Why don't they just put like a priest's tie clergy thing on you? I mean, you might as well just go out and just, I mean, they don't want you to look offensive. They don't want you to look authoritative.
No.
But yet go out and be authoritative.
And see, this is what the problem is this is a good idea, having somebody that can respond that's not police. But now they have twisted it and do a point that it's ineffective and nothing but a joke. Because like, oh, I'm sorry I offended somebody because I carried a radio. Yeah, no, you can kiss my
Because we
ass.
look like
yeah,
cops.
exactly. No,
Because you have a radio
Keep
over
my
here,
mind-
and you got the mic over here.
but even we came up with the
Short-circuiting
idea.
right now.
Yeah, even we came up with the idea of like as a personal group putting together a phone number where we could have people that were business owners such say, hey, we're dealing with somebody homeless, and one of us showed up and helped deal with it because I mean, we don't take no gruff, but we also don't have the rules that you had with this program. So that's a huge difference.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get into the psychology of.
No, there's no
What the
psychology. This is
hell
psychosis. There's
are
a
we-
difference.
Thank you. We're paying, our tax dollars are paying for, like, what kind of woke tard came up with this? I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Let's get rid of the cops. Let's get rid of the cops.
All right.
And let's have average unarmed citizens go out there and deal with fentanyl addicts, people who are having a freaking mental rage breakdown, throwing rocks through windows. Let's, I mean, at what point did you call the cops?
Overdose.
What are the cops going to do? Put a toe tag on them? You need the
Pretty
medics.
much.
You need the medics for that.
But we carried like 3 or 4 things in our can.
Oh,
3 or 4, that's it? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I've used 3 on one person.
Oh, so you
Damn.
carried Narcan. This is all new
Yeah.
to me. This is
I
interesting.
never knew what Narcan was until I started doing the downtown thing. And
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
not going to get into it, but the
Oh, no, that's why we're here.
supervisor,
Well, we're going to talk about that.
the supervisor,
I got 4 in my console
I
right
don't
now,
know.
and I have stock in the truck.
How do
Okay.
you get Narcan? Can you just
You can buy it.
You can go to a pharmacy and get it.
Yeah.
But I think you got to have a prescription, right?
No, you don't have to have a prescription, but it's like $50 a damn.
So wait, let's go back to what I said a few minutes back.
It's free.
Let's legalize drugs,
Yeah.
and then it won't be a problem because now it's legal, right?
No,
Go to
bullshit.
East Hastings Street.
And when people overdose, well, we'll just give them Narcan. Who the hell thinks this is okay?
Okay, so here's the deal. The whole legalized drugs, they can put whatever pretty face they want on it, but that's their way of trying to eliminate the problem by letting people kill themselves. That's it. Like,
I
that's
think
the
it's
end of the
weeding out the weed.
I
Yeah,
would
that's all it
disagree with
is.
that. I mean, it's population control.
You want to know what legalizing drugs looks like? Go to East Hastings Street in Vancouver, in Canada.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
That's
I know
great.
what you're
It's
saying.
like
Yeah, I know where
Amsterdam.
you're at.
Oh, it's
Oh
awesome.
no, Amsterdam's cool because they actually control the bad ones. Yeah, no, Amsterdam ain't bad at all compared
Oh,
to
no.
East Hastings Street. No, that's a whole different.
Even Portland is bad.
Well,
Oh,
Portland's
They're
terrible.
regretting that.
Yeah. Well, I've heard. Yeah,
I won't go to Port or any place in Oregon.
This is why when you have leadership that has no common sense or morality, it's all emotion. Oh, well, let them eat cake.
If you take away people's rights, who are you going to vote for? The people that take away your rights or give you more rights?
Right. Well,
I think it's a control thing.
Man,
Well,
I never
hey.
thought of it that way.
If we can buy these people's votes
Yeah. We're not going
by
to put you in jail.
allowing them
Yeah.
to steal $1,000 of goods at Target
That's
and not criminalize them, but
Let's
yet the
see. Yeah,
Republicans
let's go.
want to drop the felony
Yeah,
down to
the
$10.
Republicans want to put you in jail. They hate you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's like, let's buy these people's votes. Honestly,
So-
I think America is too smart to start voting Democrat.
Man,
So, hey, let's have all these illegal aliens come over. Let's allow them to vote.
you just
Never
touched
vote.
into the mental derangement of much of the leadership of the left.
That's
And I'm
the
not talking
Reverse
about.
psychology.
I'm not talking about the middle Democrat, okay, who maybe is starting to wake up. I'm talking about let's legalize drugs because then we won't have as high. In fact, I had somebody. This is the argument of the left all the time. I've seen this on the Facebook with lots of people from Little Sammy Joe and whatever. Oh well, crime is higher in red states. No. The conviction rate is higher because there's more laws against crimes, unlike Washington and Oregon and California, where you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And they don't prosecute you. They let you out of jail. You want to shit in the street? That's fine. You want to be illegal? That's fine.
You go to Montana
wanna-
and break into our house, we'll just damn right shoot you.
Right.
Here, it's like, oh my God, I better just let him
Right.
take my TV because I don't want to offend
Yeah,
him.
I'll create a safe space on your way out. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
let me
insanity.
sweep it and vacuum it so you know
It's
you don't leave any
insanity.
DNA behind.
And we have to be nice. We have to be nice. Okay, this has nothing to do with being nice. It's insane. We can poop on the streets. You don't get busted. You can steal anything under $1,000. You're not going to get prosecuted. You can do drugs if you want. No problem. We'll give you Narcan. Let's just destroy society and then blame the Republicans for it.
So we actually have a few comments right now. One person says that they were lived on G Street 20 years ago, moved due to homelessness, sleeping on the road, and their back porch. However, they did have an option to work. Where did the ready laborers go? I grew up in a shelter and emancipated at 15 and watched the drugs and homelessness grow and grow. My family's unfortunate addicts. They don't want to be living the way that they are, but that's all they know. Resources are needed, work opportunities are needed, and law enforcement need to be allowed to do their jobs. I cannot agree more. Now that I've actually been working with these people, it's like I have found a very large list of people who are willing to change their lives. And cool, I can get them a detox, but guess what? Then they get out of detox 7 days later, they have nowhere to go.
Right, because there's no program set up to help them succeed afterwards.
Exactly, and that's really what we need is a program that
No.
gap.
We're too busy spending money on the
Yeah.
downtown project,
yeah
having
no.
people walk around being cops that don't look like cops.
Or the 22 North that is the best drug den in the state.
I avoided that place like the plague.
Man, I was at a city council meeting where they were asking for more funding, and they said that it was the 5th time that they showed up as their contract was expiring to ask for another $300,000 just for last year.
Did you know there was a murder at 22
Wow.
North?
There have been 3 murders. One person was even set on fire in the alleyway.
That I
And-
didn't know.
yeah.
All I knew was a lady got shot in the face or something.
There have been 3 murders at 22 North that I personally know about. And the thing about it is the city council told him, he goes, okay, we're going to give you funding, but here's the deal. We're not going to do it again until you give us an update about how this is going. And they go, yes, we'll give you an update. And next time they wait until literally the 9th hour, they don't show up to the council meeting. They send a request, say, we can't show up. We don't have time. We need $300,000. And Ben Ellenboss was cool enough to just go,
Ben's a rock star.
Okay, Ben's a rock star. I love Ben, but he goes, "How long are we going to keep letting them get away with this when we have told them now 5 times they will not continue funding if they don't show up and tell us things are better?"
Well,
Get-
there is.
Do you realize the city
I don't
council
know enough
can't do
about it.
a random
Yeah, no, I
random
know.
walkthrough?
I know some people in 22 North. I can't say names right now.
What exactly is 22 North? Is it like an apartment complex?
It's an apartment complex where homeless people can get a free apartment and at the bottom, but they're supposed to have requirements that they fulfill to be able to live there. They're not living up to them. They're not doing anything but selling drugs and just living for free. And several of the city council members actually showed up and said, "Hey, I want to do a walkthrough today," and they said, "No, we can't, not without an appointment." And I'm city council. They said, "Doesn't matter. You're not allowed to walk in the building." Oh, really? The person who's giving you your money to fund your project isn't allowed to walk through the building
Yeah, there's
unannounced.
some weird. There's there's a lot. In fact, I know somebody who's involved who's just started working with them. That's kind of cleaning it up. Then I'd be interesting to hear this person has to say where it's at now.
I can get in anywhere
'Cause they
I
know
mean,
it's a
that's just the
problem.
truth.
Yeah.
Like I want to go do an unrestricted walkthrough.
But what this goes back to is, again, it's the problem of you're not regenerating, rehabilitating, restoring people. You're just letting them have what they want.
And
Enabling.
that's the actual
You're
fact.
enabling, exactly. That's the left. Let's enable them. And from open borders, we're a sanctuary city. It's a federal law to be here illegally. Okay,
The
you should get deported.
Democrats, in my opinion, want to teach people how to run before they learn to walk.
Well, okay,
They
so
want to just give them a training wheels and a bike when they haven't even ridden one yet. And here, go ahead and kill yourselves.
So if we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about both sides, here's the deal. A lot of conservatives don't want to help at all. They're just like fuck them. They're like a lot. I'm not saying
yeah,
that.
no. There's
I'm not saying everyone.
Yeah.
But you know what,
and then
though?
and then a
You know
lot
what?
of Democrats at the same time are like, give them everything
But you
that
know what, though?
I have for free that I have worked so hard for. Neither of those are good
There's
options.
Democrats that do the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't care about them.
Yeah.
There's limousine liberals, I call
Oh
them.
my God.
Limousine liberals are like, oh, we're not tea parties,
Yeah.
They're like, just let them eat cake. Give them, whatever,
Eh,
just so long as
eh,
every liberal talks about how I want to do something about the homeless. I want to do something about all these problems. And let's let all these poor immigrants, well, can they stay at your
Okay,
house?
yeah.
No.
Oh, you're
no,
gonna
I don't
bring
want them
up the
anywhere near
immigrants.
me.
All
I
right.
got a
Walls
fence
are
and a gated
bad.
community. So it's
Yeah, walls are terrible.
hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy to the highest level. I'm an honest guy. I'm like, look, there's things I like, I don't, but I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a solution, but the problem is right now they're just letting everyone do what they want
and
and
that's
passing
terrible.
the buck down the line.
Yep, terrible.
And nothing gets solved. And so anyway, we're trying to bring it back around here to Bellingham. And our guest James, because
Hey James, how are you doing?
I'm still alive.
this is I gotta reel it back in here so we can get on so many rabbit trails.
Squirrel.
So you're working for the Downtown Project. The Downtown Project basically is this government funded thing that we pay tax dollars for a bunch of people to walk around and be nice.
Pretty much. That's what it is. But when you're used to doing different things in different states, it's all politics.
So, and what
I'm
happened
sure things have changed.
since you've been there? So why aren't you there anymore? What happened? We talked about this a little bit. Explain to the audience what happened. Why you're not there anymore?
Well, to me, being the only, how old was I? What? 40, I'm 42 now. The only 41-year-old white conservatives, I can't really say conservative, but middle-leaning,
yeah.
conservative, Republican, white male who has such an extensive background in this type of work, knowing what can and could happen. And you're working with anyone from 19 to 24 years old that are non-binary, lesbian, transgendered. It's not a good mix.
So you're the old white guy. You got your white privilege card on
I not yet, but I'm
Jeffrey's got
still
his.
waiting for it in the mail. But to me, it seemed like a little bit of discrimination because I was white. You got a white privilege? Oh, you got this from the Hodge twins.
Need to get that on camera.
That's
Jeffrey has his
awesome.
official white privilege card. There we go. Just so there's no mistake, we can just.
You should
you know.
refill me.
By the way, is this rechargeable?
No, look at the data expires.
I can't read that because I don't have my readers on. But okay, to those on the left, this is the idiocy that you've pushed us into. It's like I have no privilege. I work my ass off every freaking day. Nobody gives me a leg up because of my freaking color.
Yeah.
Does Michael Jordan, who's way richer than me, Oprah's way richer than me. I mean,
she's still asking us for help for Maui.
Don't start
Don't
on that
even
with
get
me.
into that.
I
Anyway.
have got a lot of opinions on that.
yeah, we can go. That's a whole nother rabbit trail. But back to the downtown project. So, but you tell me that you basically got fired.
I went into work and we did our thing, and then the supervisor, who was a 23-year-old transgender female wanting to be male, said, "You and I need to talk." I was like, "Okay, no problem." And they decided to ask, "Hey, do you have a Facebook group?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "Well, the partnership, the city partnership or whatever, I don't know the exact name of the company that I worked for, but the Billings or Bellingham partnership said that this name matches a name that works for you guys who has a Facebook group called Bellingham's Gone to Shit." And she's like, "Do you have a Facebook group called Bellingham's Gone to Shit?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And they pretty much said, "Well, they said if it's you, we have to let you go because it's a conflict of interest."
Wow.
Interesting. So you got wait, hold on.
But
That's
yeah,
discrimination.
but
That's
when
freedom of speech.
yeah, but because I kind of figured because I could have got a lot of great footage, a lot of great pictures, but when I started it, I passed it kind of on to you and Jillian.
Oh, the page, yeah.
Yeah,
You've got
because
yeah,
I
you've got
kinda
admins and people
knew
running it now. Yeah.
that it would be a
You're kind
conflict
of a hands
interest.
off.
Yeah, because if I wanted, there'd be like 8,000 pictures in one
So
day.
do you think they were afraid of just how bad Bellingham is being exposed, and that this project is really feckless?
I think because of a lot of places where I went, I'm sure the average Joe goes too. But as many times as I've gone to these places, I could have snapped a picture. I could have took a video. I could have posted it on the group. I think they were afraid of that.
But you didn't.
No.
Oh, that's some integrity. I mean, what is the what was the policy for that?
We were not allowed to take pictures or videos because it was an invasion of privacy.
Okay, that
But
makes sense. I'm fine with that.
Becoming from my background, I ask questions. So you want me to do this, but what happens if you call the cops? So if a guy comes at me with a knife, you expect me to say, "Hold on 1 minute, let me call the police before I call the cops"? Don't stab me yet. I got to bring out my cute little cell phone that you guys gave me. I said, "No. Don't stab me yet."
We got a crossfeed going on here or something.
Sorry,
That's what I'm hearing.
I just saw a message that said to turn his mic up. So
Oh, mine?
no, both of your guys'. So I'm adjusting on the fly here.
Yeah, no worries. Just keep it up.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm hearing like a delay though.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's picking up in the mic.
I was checking the live and seeing if I got some more message over there.
So let me get this straight. So you're you can't defend yourself. You can't take a picture. Yeah, you have to kind of just let things develop, and whatever the cards may fall happens for $18
If our
an hour.
life is in danger, we call the cops. But tell me this. How long is it going to take you to pull your cell phone out of your little phone holder, dial 911, tell them what's going on before I stab you in the face?
Yeah.
When I could literally push a button and say, hey, I'm on the corner of Railroad and Magnolia. I need somebody here to call the cops right now before I get stabbed in the face.
But you couldn't have radios.
No.
So, and this
I
is
always asked questions because that's what I was taught to do. Ask questions.
is this
But it
project
always contradicted what they wanted to happen.
is this project still going?
Honestly, I don't. He would. I flat out refuse to go downtown.
I have no idea. I have to look into this because this seems like the absolute biggest waste of money I've ever heard of.
To me,
Oh, really?
you
We're going to
know,
compare this the
honestly,
biggest ever?
Well, maybe not the biggest.
I saw some good out of it. I was walking downtown one day, and a guy approaches me and taps me on the shoulder, which is a big no-no. Being on the streets, you're automatically on edge.
Right. Yeah.
The wife's noticed that when I'm out downtown, my mind is just going, and I'm constantly just monitoring my surroundings. But this guy taps me on the shoulder. He's like, I need help. And I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? He's like, I want to get into rehab.
Oh.
So that kind of made me feel good. Like, finally somebody's approaching me for help. And I'm not just wasting my breath and my energy walking 15 miles around town
So
every day.
what did you do? What did you do?
I didn't know how to approach that. So I called the supervisor because this was like my first, second, third week.
This is the transgender mentally confused person
Exactly.
who's running this entire project.
Yes. Who's 21
Who you're
years old.
21 years old, no life experience, and can't figure out if they want to be a woman or a man.
Yeah. Who's literally a woman.
And they're running public relations with mentally ill people.
Yes.
Which I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for that, but I'm sorry, I don't hate anyone, but mental illness is mental illness. If you can't figure out if you're a man or a woman, I mean, you shouldn't be running a project that has to deal with other mentally ill people. But whatever happened to getting actual people who are stable to try and figure things? Oh, we don't want that because they hate. It's all about hate. I'm a hater. I don't hate anything. What I hate is illogic and uncommon sense.
Yeah,
and lack of critical thinking. And I'm sorry, it doesn't sound to me like this is the biggest, most successful use of taxpayer money. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'm sure there's good that comes from it. If there is, I only saw it once.
How so?
And that was when the guy approached me and said he needed help.
But that could happen with anyone.
Yeah.
It could be anyone on the street and say, hey, man, I don't know you, but I really need some help. Is there any way you can help me? I mean, I get having a representative out there, but I think it should be a volunteer position. I mean, not saying you, granted, you were getting paid, but that should be a volunteer thing,
You couldn't pay me enough to do it anymore.
Oh, it sounds horrible.
I enjoyed it.
Really?
But because I met a lot of people that I've seen and knew from the past. So I've came in contact with those people.
So if you could change anything in the project and if you could make it better, what kinds of things do you think you would do to make this?
Honestly, have a means to defend yourself and have better communication.
And put your mic a little closer again. There you go.
And have communication.
Communication, what's that?
You mean like app radios and dispatch and stuff like
that?
Yeah.
Because like I said, we're walking around with cell phones. Something that might take you 30 seconds to dial will take you 1 second to push a button and then have your colleagues call it in and say, hey, this guy's getting stabbed in the face on this street.
Yeah. Wow.
it's
How many
weird.
people? How many people do you think they have working in this project? How many employees do you know? Or at least when
Well,
you were
it was
there.
only one shift. I think from 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. I think maybe 5 or 6 total.
And there's shifts like day shift, swing
Just
shift, night
day.
shift. So they go all night, all 24 hours.
No.
No.
From 8 to 5, it was us. And then I think around 7 to whatever time RSU stepped in.
Which is another
Which
security. Yeah.
I think it's a security out.
Yeah, I'm familiar
bit.
with RSU. Yeah. Yeah. Which again, as far as I know, they're unarmed too.
Mhm.
And it's yeah. I actually know somebody involved in that. I'll have to it'd be interesting to interview them and see how it's going.
Well, the
Well,
supervisor actually told me, she's like, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, look, I mean, deterrents are deterrents. We have our famous Jimmy Kitchens on the page, and you look at what
Dun,
he's
dun,
doing.
dun.
That man,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm Batman.
And Jimmy, I'm gonna get him on here and interview him sometime. His story, he's had his tools stolen several times, and had a lot of theft happen to him, and he's just got to the point where he was like, I'm just done. I've had enough. I'm tired of people stealing, getting away with it. I'm gonna do something. And I think as we have the right as functioning members of society to be good Samaritans and step in and to not tolerate this stuff. We've taken the word tolerance and used it as a weapon against our own people.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to just tolerate it all. We can't do anything about it. We just got to let them have it and it'll go away. It's not going away. It's increasing. It's getting worse.
It's because you're enabling it.
It's enablement. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, he's a drunk, but you know what? We don't want him to go through the pain of,
So let's give more
detox,
alcohol.
so let's just give him more alcohol.
And then
That's
he
what
dies.
the current leadership is doing.
Yeah.
So doing it in Bellingham and this downtown project. I mean, you got mentally ill people dealing with other mentally ill people. That's what scares me about people saying, I see this a lot on the page. We need better mental illness care. We need, and I'm like, well, but you have
we do.
mentally ill people that are running the mental establishments.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You don't have normally, you have people who don't even know if they're men or women.
Yeah.
And think that's okay. I'm sorry, even just 20 years ago, that was you being a psych ward going, okay, we need to examine what's going on here. Now it's like, oh well,
Well,
they're
they
just
closed down all the psych wards, so that's the problem.
well, and honestly, here's the problem. And getting back into non-political, well, it's political. I blame the Republicans for that. That happened back in the late 80s already when the Republicans shut down the mental asylums and things like that.
Well, they didn't close down until a few years ago. I mean, Western
Well, it was
State was a
progressive.
few years. Like
Western State and
Like-
Cedro?
yeah. So I hate the division when you say it's the Democrats' fault, it's the Republicans' fault, because in the end, the only way that
Well, no,
things
I'm
get
just trying to
better-
be
so
fair.
I know, but
But I'm blaming the Republicans for that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if we can't work together, the more we divide, the worse it gets.
You know why we can't work together is because of power and money.
Oh,
That's what it comes down to.
But like somebody's got to have an olive branch in their hand, and
Oh, I know.
I'm willing to say, you know what? I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
But they have different views of what's right and what's wrong.
That's fine.
If
It-
I want to be a cat. I want to be a cat. Well, you're not a cat. You're a human being. No. I identify as a cat.
well,
Is that
you're-
right or wrong? Well,
And-
what we've given a doorway to say, whatever you feel is right. Your truth is your truth. That's not true.
Yeah.
Truth is constant, whether you agree with it or not. The sun rises, the sun sets. No, I don't feel like that's true. I feel like the sun sort of comes
Yeah,
up
and that's
and
fine.
hangs out for a while, and once in a while it goes away. No,
It
it's
needs a nap.
constant every day. The sky is blue. Well, it's sort of aqua. It's freaking blue. Okay. We've got into this realm of your truth is your truth. Your reality is your reality. Okay. In your household, on some levels, that's fine. Your family dynamic is your family dynamic. It's not my family dynamic. Okay. But in society, there are universal truths. You were born with a dick. You're a boy. Period. Regardless of how you feel.
How
Sorry.
dare you
But
assume
at the
my
same
gender?
time, okay, so like whatever you want to feel about yourself, I have no problem with.
Well, I like to feel
It-
myself
it's
sometimes.
yeah,
But
I
this
mean,
is a family show, so
it is.
well,
The
it's
fuck, why don't you
digressing
tell
quickly.
me?
into
God damn it.
something else,
Honestly, if
but
I ever decided to
keep
be
it
a
PG.
woman, I'd never leave my bedroom.
oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's what they look like.
I want to
on
be.
Percy.
I want to be. Well, never mind. I'm not.
No, so my issue is when you're offended that I am not willing to accept you for
Oh,
what your
yeah.
for your belief, but you're not willing to accept me because I don't believe the same as you. I have no problem if you want to be a fucking cat in your house. I have no problem with it.
Exactly.
Great, I'm great. But when you get mad at me because I don't see a cat in front of me, you will never change my belief based on your feeling.
I'm
I
still
will-
not going
I-
to believe you're a cat if
Yeah.
you're taking a shit in the litter box.
I mean, but at the same time though, like I'm gonna give you the same respect I'm asking for.
That's because
Like
they're.
if you want to feel that way and believe that way, God bless you. Do your own thing. It ain't my life. It's not my circus, not my monkeys.
Okay, but where's the threshold, guys?
when
got-
when their feelings impose upon my life,
But that's
my
relative.
threshold.
Well, that's what you say, but I just punched you in the face. It didn't hurt me.
Really? How's your hand feel?
No, it didn't hurt me at all. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
I know.
see the illogic in this.
Oh yeah.
I can kick
No.
you in the balls, and I'm fine with it because it didn't hurt me. And
No, you know what?
used to be,
And then I turn
stay
around.
out of our bedrooms,
Yep.
right? That was the whole LGBT thing. And I'm not. It's not even the LGB. It's the T and the Q now. That's the problem. And it's like stay out of our bedrooms. Well, you brought your bedrooms out into our streets. You brought your bedrooms into my face and into my kids' classroom and into our libraries. We have grown men that dress as women and try and sexualize children, and you think that's okay. Well, you don't have to bring your kids. Okay, if you know your neighbor's abusing your child, his child, would you not call the authorities or the Child Protective Service and say, I think there's some abuse going on? Sexualizing your children at prepubescent like that when their brains aren't. Men, our brains aren't even developed till we're like in our 20s practically. I mean,
Mine's still
you're
not
trying to tell-
developed.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm way far away.
But I hit 40 and I finally started to,
Lucky.
but I mean, we're stay the fuck away from our children.
Yeah.
No transgender. You don't sexualize our children because little Johnny played with a doll for 5 minutes. Now we need to fucking give him hormone blockers and chemically castrate him and transition him into something he's not.
It's
No,
like that one
see.
The
TV
fuck
show.
is up with that? And that's okay. And you're a hater.
And-
You're a hater.
But here's the thing, like
You hate.
You're literally talking about a small minority of people comparatively across the board.
I don't care.
Radical,
They're running the show. How did we
radicals
let
on
them
either
run the
side-
show?
No, okay.
How the fuck did we
They're
let
not
them run the
running
show?
but for some reason we keep giving into them, and that's
I'll
not
ask
okay.
you the question. Here's why. Pussy, feckless, and now this is the time of the show where I'm getting worked up. Feckless leaders who don't have balls, that are emasculated, who have lost their moral way because of power and money, and they think that they can gain power and money off of this small minority, and they're
There you go.
afraid. They're wimps.
Oh,
They're afraid.
they are not afraid at all. The truth is
No, they're
look-
afraid of
they're
doing the
looking-
right thing.
Yeah, they're afraid of doing the right thing. Yeah, because it's not it's the road less traveled.
They're trying
it's
to
back to-
win
again.
votes.
Yeah, and that's what it comes
Leave
down to.
Children alone. You say, well, it's not in your house. No, if you're abusing your kid in your household, that's a child. I'm going to stand up for that child, even if it's not my child.
And we can be in your house or my house or any house. I'm coming in.
You know what? Nambla, now, pedophilia is on a rampage. You know why pedophilia is on a rampage?
Minor attracted person.
Maps. Yeah. Yeah. Let's
They're
change
trying
the
to make that
terminology.
illegal.
Let's change the
You know what?
terminology.
Please do, because
play
then it'll be
word
so easy
games.
to identify them.
I got never mind.
No. This
I'm
is
not gonna
what
go
they
there.
do. This is what they do. Well, it's not abortion. It's a woman's right to choose. It's not it's not infanticide. It's a woman's right to choose. Let's change the wording and soften up things that are horrific, so that it people will, okay,
It's not torture. It's physical corrective behavior or behavior.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think
When I beat your ass for freaking
Yeah, exactly. It's-
sexualizing my kid,
I think that's mental abuse. It's like that
It is, it's
TV
me-
show.
it's child abuse.
Yeah. It's like
child
that
abuse.
one.
I can sit here and I'll have to do. I'm going to gather up this information we'll be putting in these podcasts and show you the people. The suicide rate amongst the transgender community is the highest of any sect.
yeah.
Of
And then they
society.
blame.
There's a
Republicans
reason
for
for that,
hating
you
on 'em.
morons. Okay,
Yeah.
pull your heads out of your asses. Quit being wimps and start standing up and saying this is wrong. You're mentally ill. Oh, Mark, you're a hater. You're such a hater. You hate. You know what I hate? I hate people who are. Let me finish this. You're a normophobe. You're a normophobe. You're afraid of that which is normal because you cannot conceive of anything that is good and pure and normal. Well, what is good and pure? It's fluid, it's emotional. Okay, then society is going to collapse real soon. If everybody just, it's interesting, and I hate to get biblical on you, but the Bible talks about that. It says in the end days, everyone is going to be doing what's right in their own mind. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. Isn't that weird? That we're kind of heading into that territory. Everybody's doing what they want. People are dying. They're getting murdered. They're getting raped. Children are getting pedophiled. We got border wide open. We got chaos everywhere. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, it sure got that one right. Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if it's mental illness so much as
Spiritual.
no, it's enabling wrong thought. Like mental. I have dealt with a lot of mental illness.
But what's
And-
wrong thought, Jeffrey? What's wrong thought?
That
Who
is
determines that?
improper perspective
Based off of what?
based off of life
Based off
experience.
of whose morals? Yeah, but that's fluid. That's relative. Hitler's society thought it was okay to murder Jews. So should we
Yeah.
follow that?
No. Well,
Here's where we bring the religion in
pro-Palestine,
for me.
if you want to do this, we have pro-Palestine right now, where they're literally saying from the river to the sea, let them be free.
Well, I ain't on either side
Yeah,
of the whole.
no,
The
like-
whole. By the way, the whole Palestine and Jew thing is funded by the United States.
Yeah.
That whole thing, by the way, for all you out there listening, if you don't know, the United States funds both sides of that. So whatever side you're taking is
you
the
don't
wrong
have enough
side.
whiskey in this house to open that box of worms.
Oh,
okay?
I'll open it up,
Like-
man. I got enough whiskey. What I'm trying to say here is we've lost our way because we look at me. I'm not Bible thumping here, but I will bring God into it. I believe in God. I believe that we've got our morals from God.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe that without a moral lawgiver, there's no moral law, and there's
Yeah.
chaos, and
Yeah.
that is what we see. It's every man for themselves. Do what you want. Do whatever pleases thyself. And how's that working? It's not.
And
It's-
you talk to any old, very successful person on their deathbed, and you know what they say? I should have just said fuck the money. I should have said fuck all the pleasure. I should have just focused on the things that are truly important, like family, and living a good life.
No, I'll tell you, there's a lot of people when they get to the end of their life, they're going to find out they made a big mistake. But what I'm trying to say here, man, bringing it around to all this, getting back to, a lot of these debates we get into on the Bellingham's Gone to Shit page, all that, whether you're religious or not. I know non-religious people that'll go, hey, the Bible's got some pretty good things that, I mean, just think, thou shalt not steal. What happens if you don't steal? Well, nobody gets their shit stolen. Well, what happens if you don't covet your neighbor's wife? Hell, nobody gets their heart broken.
I don't know. Have you seen my neighbor's wife?
But you get my point,
Oh, he's
Kidding,
just
honey.
switched from
Look at her.
right
Look at the look on her face. She's like,
oh, I need to swap that camera around.
man, I tell you what, man, you got a cold ride home, bro.
Yeah. If he
I
makes
gotta
it home.
But I'm not trying to thump. Just the principles of getting back to even traditional American traditionalism, where you know what. You didn't have these safe spaces. If you popped off and did something at the neighbor's house, the neighbor brought you home by your ear to your doorstep, and then your mom kicked your ass on top of it once you got.
And then
through
you
the
wait
door.
for your dad to get home from work.
Oh, waiting for dad to get
don't
home
bring
from work.
Dad in.
That was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
I mean-
remember that. You
Oh,
wait till your
Mark,
father
Mark,
gets home. Oh,
You hate, and you just hate. I hate what's illogical and people who don't think critically. And when, like you said this, if it's not working, We're
You
going to go a different
change it.
direction.
Yeah.
And the thing is I could tell you ahead of time it's not going to work. You want to be a cat? Well, I want to be a cat because that's what I identify. Well, then you're going to sleep in the cat. You're going to have a cat bed. You're going to have a litter box outside on the freaking
You're
porch.
talking about
Well,
parenting
no,
right now.
no, I want to be in the house. No, you want what you want on your terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's called accelerated learning.
We're
right
done.
there.
Enough. And I'm telling you what, people are waking up, and all these minority that you talked about, you said it's a minority. Okay, it's a minority. I don't give a shit if it's a minority. They're running the majority right now because we've allowed it.
Yeah.
Okay. It has nothing to do. You know what I hate? I hate children being abused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate children being exploited. I hate children being raped, tortured, murdered, and sex trafficked.
And
Okay, because there's fucked up people in this world who think that shit's okay, like NAMBLA, the National Man Boy Love Association. Oh, minor attracted person. I'm not a pervert. No, you're a fucking pervert. No, I'm a minor attracted person. Okay, you can change the terminology. It doesn't change what you are.
Yeah.
You're a fucking sick pervert. And you know the
That should be
recidivism rate?
shot.
The recidivism rate of pedophiles
98%.
is 98%.
Yep.
Okay, it's almost 100%. It's a deviancy, just like transgenderism. I'm sorry, I don't care.
So
Send me the hate mail. I'll sit down with any. I can show you video after video, okay, of transgender people who have transitioned who are in horrible condition right now. They are so lost and so confused and so suicidal because you're telling your body and your brain two different things that are never going to go together ever, period. Bruce Jenner talks about the regret. I've seen interviews with him talking about, he's like, I don't think this was the right decision. Okay. And we want to
Here's your
normalize this and teach it to our children. You know what they're teaching our kids in school? How to masturbate with a banana now. How to use different household items to pleasure yourself. And public schools have gone, you want to talk about gone to shit? Public schools have gone to shit. They have gone to hell in a handbasket, but that's okay. If you're one of these liberals in Bellingham, and I don't mean all you, I mean leftists. I shouldn't say liberal. I should say leftist. Who think this shit's okay. And I know Democrats are like, yeah, no, I'm not really. Okay, then quit voting for leaders who support this shit. Maybe give the other side a try. And trust me, I got just as many problems with some of these rhino Republicans who are slimy backdoor dealing. Man, that's why I don't associate with the Republican Party. People go, you're a Republican. No, I ain't a Republican. I'm a conservative. I do conservatism, not republicanism. Republicanism is dead and feckless. You remember the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yeah.
And you guys remember the Harlem Globetrotters?
I went and saw him when I was a kid,
Remember them?
actually. Yeah, oh yeah.
Remember the Washington Generals that they played all the time
Yeah.
that were there just to lose?
Well, I mean, honestly, you couldn't beat the Harlem Grove.
I've never seen that.
Remember the Washington
Drop.
Generals that
I
they're
know
just to
exactly
lose?
who you are. Who
Yeah.
are you talking about? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think
That's
they're the ones that did all the tricks.
remember
and
them?
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Harlem
Yeah.
Globetrotters
Right.
would spank you like Michael Jordan dreamed about in his
Right.
his fantasies. Yes.
Well, the Republican Party is the Washington Generals.
Yeah.
The Democrats are playing 3D chess. The Republican Party is playing checkers. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And so I want both parties done. We need complete gutting of our governmental system and get back to good old-fashioned traditional American values. Oh, well, but that involves hate, Mark. No,
Well,
it's not hate.
Yeah. no.
Everybody, I don't give a shit what you do in your bedroom as long as you keep it in your bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Hey
So,
guys,
anyway.
so we're gonna actually take 5 here because we're gonna do a bathroom break. So we're gonna go ahead and cut here for a minute. Let me just get this going, and we will.
Is there
be
anybody
back-
left, or did I just piss everyone off?
No, not at all. He had to go to the bathroom. Nobody's mad, but here you go. So this is the Urban Podcast. Thank you guys so much. We will be back here just shortly, and yeah.
Oh, you want my counter?
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Okay, good.